If your child does not bat an eye when they're being scolded, then that means there is too much scolding going on. Do you agree or disagree with that comment? I'm going to say it again. If your child doesn't bat an eye when they're being scolded, then that means there's too much scolding going on. Have you ever been in a situation as a parent where you feel like you're talking in an echo chamber? Oh. Have you ever felt like, you talk and you repeat yourself and you say things over and over again and you're just not being heard? Do you often then resort to yelling and screaming in order for your voice to be heard, for them to follow through with expectations? Do you feel guilty about yelling and this continuous cycle that you find yourself in, and you're just not sure what to do to stop the yelling in the house? Guess what? You are in the right place today. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about some tips for parents like myself on how we can stop the yelling in our homes with our kids. Okay, so let me be honest here. I don't know actually if we can actually ever stop. Okay, but I am going to say this will actually help you reduce, okay, the amount of times that you actually yell at your kids. Okay, so let me just make sure I am all hooked up here and everyone can hear me and see me. Okay, awesome. Let's get started. Okay, so welcome everybody. You are tuning in the Raising Rich Kid show. My name is Marlene Spence. I am the founder of Cornerstone Family Services and the creator of Reward'em, the first and only at this moment routine charts for families that are restickable and have multicultural characters. So I am typically the one that parents and educators go to when they want some practical and positive step-by-step solutions on how to manage child's behavior, okay? And so that could be very complex, or it can be very simple as, how do I get my child to pick up their clothes and stop leaving it on the floor? And so I often will work with families, work with parents, and we strategize together and come up with solutions and to help so that everybody can have a calmer and happier home. I myself, so I've been in helping families for 20 years. My background is in behavior analysis and psychology, and I am a mom of two myself. I am a wife as well, and I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. So, how did we get here? So this topic is something that I often have a lot of conversations with parents about, and it's about the guilt of like, man, like, yeah, I've just been yelling quite a bit. And often lately, so if you don't follow me on my Instagram, you need to follow me on Cornerstone FS. I often share my ups and downs in parenting. And there's been a few situations that I have shared where a lot of my community has said, what, you didn't lose your mind during this situation? And I can happily say, no, I didn't yell. I wanted to, but I didn't. And so many of them would say, how do you do that? And so I'm here today to offer and help you reflect on some of the things that I've had to reflect in order to reduce some of that, some of the way I handle situations. Now, listen to me, okay? I do not sit here today proclaiming to never yell at my kids. Trust me, okay? I do yell at my children at times, okay? But I can sit here and tell you that the amount of yelling that I do now has significantly decreased, okay? I have my bad days, every parent does, but as I said, I feel like I'm handling situations a lot better now. So, how do I do that? How can you do that? So glad you asked. So, the first thing I would have to say is self-reg so that you can co-reg. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? So a really good friend of mine, Dr. Lockhart, who is a pediatric psychologist in Texas, recently actually wrote this message on her Instagram. And it said, when you are emotionally dysregulated, so when you as a parent are emotionally dysregulated, you will respond to your child's anxiety-based or any of their behavior at that in an exaggerated manner, okay? So there are times where, maybe we haven't had enough sleep, maybe we're not eating properly, there's a lot of things happening. We could have family members that are sick. We have a trillion things on our to-do list that we want to get to. And as we're trying to run out the door, there's a million things we're trying to do. And, the kids aren't moving fast enough, or we're just about to leave. And, the syrup spills and ruins, their clothing, your clothes. Sound familiar? Yeah, I've been there. And then you just lose it, right? So what happens is, again, if we are not regulated, okay, so if we are having a hard time regulating our emotions, then it is going to be very hard for our kids to regulate their emotions, okay? And so, sorry, just taking a look at my notes here, okay? So ask yourself, how are you doing when it comes to regulating your emotions, okay? What can you do to help improve yourself so that you can better handle situations, okay? And a lot of this also goes into self-care, okay? So what are you doing to take care of yourself so you can better regulate your emotions? Because I mean, that the truth be told, when we are stressed, when we are hungry, we are tired, there are a lot of things that will lower our tolerance levels, okay? And so we don't have the tolerance when, we have to repeat ourselves. And compare that to, let's say, when you are well rested and, it's been great and things are going well, you are able to handle those difficult situations well or better, right? Then, so what is it that you need? Help identify those things that put you in a good mood, help you feel calm, help you feel regulated. And by doing that too, sometimes you have to also identify what your triggers are. So what are the things that make you dysregulated? Okay, and as I said, like lack of sleep, the pressures of deadlines, at work, or if you own your own business, knowing that things have to be done and shipped out on timely manners, and you have to, respond to emails, and there's a lot of stress and a lot of other things happening that, again, that could tie into those triggers, okay? And so identifying kind of what those triggers are, what is happening in your life right now that could be triggering you to be dysregulated, and how can you regulate yourself? So I've recently had a coaching call with a family where we took a long time actually kind of digging a little bit deeper into this self-regulation and self-care piece, because really and truly, if we can't be in a state to regulate ourselves, and how are we going to ask our kids to be able to regulate themselves, and how are we going to be able to handle those problematic situations, because our kids are kids, right? Those things are going to, there's no way we can avoid them. Our kids are kids, and as they grow, these are the things that are going to happen. So how are we as parents going to be able to handle that? And so, with this family that I was coaching, we just talked about what are some of the things that you can do for yourself. For me, sometimes it's, before I was picking up my kids from school, I would literally sit in my car with a chocolate bar and play my favorite song. And, for that 5 or 10 minutes, I would just have my time where I was able to kind of take a few deep breaths, regulate my emotions, change my frame of mind so that I could now move forward, to picking up my son and hearing him say he's lost his shoe again. True stories. Okay, and so how can you regulate? And once you regulate yourself, will help you co-regulate. So what does co-regulate mean? Okay, so that is, now you've regulated yourself, and now you're going to help your child to regulate their emotions by your emotions. So your emotions almost feeding off of your child's emotions, okay? And so when your child is escalated and angry and upset or crying or defiant, right? We kind of talked about this too last week. If you haven't checked out last week's segment, we talked about the roller coaster of emotions in our preteens and how do we handle that, right? And so when they're feeling all those, emotions, and it's up and down and they're defiant, you responding with attitude and you yelling back and you trying to top it up is not co-regulating, okay? Your dysregulation is then going to make them even more dysregulated, and you're just going to continue that cycle. So when you're able to calmly speak about, okay, so what's going on? What do you need right now? Okay, so I've asked you if you can put on your shoes, and so that's what really I need you to do. No more crying. This is what, right? And so when you're able to handle things in a soft manner, they will be able to kind of feel that energy from you and feed off of that energy from you. So self-regulate to co-regulate. Okay. Next one. Okay, so we went into that already. Okay, if you are watching live, or I can only see sometimes if you're watching live, so just say hello in the comments. Let me know that you are here. If you're watching the replay, I still want to hear from you as well. So say hello. Let me know. Are these good tips? What would you say do you struggle with when it comes to yelling? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so next one is change your lens. So what do I mean by that? We often look at things from a parenting lens and assume that our kids are being bad, or like almost an authoritative lens sometimes. And we always think, our kids are being bad, or they're being lazy, or I need to show them that I am, the dominant one, and by raising our voice. And so I'm challenging you today to change your lens, change the way that you are seeing things, or how you're seeing things, change your perspective, okay? Behavior is communication, okay? And so anytime you see your child acting out, whether that be aggressive, as I said, lying, they're having tantrums, they're talking back, they're ignoring. Behavior is communication. And so they're either communicating that they are in need of something, okay, or that they are trying to avoid something. So are they feeling anxious? Are they trying to avoid and get away from someone or something? Or do they want someone or something? Do they want someone's attention? Are they trying to get something? So what is it that they are communicating? So when we begin to look at behavior as a way of communicating, it kind of changes the way then we handle situations, okay? And so again, when we are regulated, we're able to put ourselves into that frame of mind to say like, okay, so they're having a tantrum right now. They really want that cookie. I get it. Okay, they do. But how do we handle this? Hey, Octavia, thank you. So how do we actually handle this? Okay, and so, are they saying that they need a hug in those moments where, yeah, they're in the mall and they're screaming because they want the candy and you haven't given them the candy? You're going to wait it out. You're going to let them scream a little bit. And then you might say, hey, like, do you need a hug? Like, or I get it. And this is, we talked about the roller coaster of emotions in last Tuesday's session, and how being empathetic was so important. So just saying like, hey, look, I know you really wanted that. It's not something that we can do right now. I can give you a hug. We can do this. And then, and then it's time to go. So being able to, think of what is it that they need. Are their needs being met? Are they hungry? Are they tired, right? A lot of the times too, we don't realize our kids are sleep deprived, our kids are hungry. And so, we took them to the mall. We knew they were tired. We knew that they're hungry, or they've been at the mall for a long time. We know they're going to lose it. And then we're getting mad at them for losing it. But in reality, we know that they're communicating like, I'm tired and it's time to go. So what is it that they are communicating? And take a moment to just put yourself in your child's shoes, okay? And so we know that yelling is not effective. And think about it. If your spouse or your boss yelled at you for everything that you did wrong all the time, it wouldn't, you would just be acting out of fear. No one wants to do that. Or in reality, after a while, you're just like, this place makes me sick. It makes me anxious. I don't even want to be around here. It doesn't make me feel safe. And so after time, our kids begin to feel like this. And this is sometimes why as teenagers, things begin to even clash even more. So it's really important, in these stages, now that you're having some of this reflective work, and we're going to kind of talk about a little bit of that in a bit, about what as parents we need to reflect on, and we can make changes. I always say, again, I am not perfect. I sometimes am just like, oh my God. Sometimes when I'm in public, I'm like, I totally lost it. Like, I cannot even tell people I'm a behavior consultant or a parenting strategist right now. So my point is, we all have our moments, okay? But you can't get hung up on that. I always tell parents, every day is a new day. You hit that restart button and you make it a new and fresh start, okay? And you move forward from whatever incident and you give it a try again. The other thing I want to mention too is when you put yourself in your child's shoes, and you're asking, okay, what is really going on here? Sometimes they're not following through, and it is because of us. It is because we're talking way too much and they don't understand what we're trying to say. It is because, and I'll kind of go into a little bit of this in a little bit, but are we being consistent? Are we sending mixed messages? Do they never know kind of when to take us seriously and when not to? And that's why, they're not really paying attention. And that kind of goes back to the quote where I had said in the beginning that, if your child never bats an eye when they're being scolded, then, maybe there's too much scolding going on, because what happens is our kids eventually are just like, psh, I don't even need to listen to you. Like, oh, whatever. It's just you yelling, just mom yelling again. It's just dad yelling again. And when they get older, it's not even a phase. They don't even care. They begin to just totally tune you out. So that's definitely not a stage, you know, you want to get to as well. Okay. So put yourself in your child's shoes. So we talked about that. And then I have two just reflection questions that I just want to talk about. So the first one is, you know, and if you're watching this, then I'm pretty sure you're a parent that is already feeling, you know, guilty and bad, because we do, right? We yell, we scream, we feel guilty about it. And you're thinking, how do I change this? And so ask yourself, or reflect and kind of ask yourself, do you understand why you continue to go into this cycle? Okay. And so again, is it because you're stressed? Is it because you know, you feel like you need to show that you are the authority in the home? Do you feel like if you're not yelling, then you're letting them off easy? So what is it, would you say, is the reason for this cycle? And how do you kind of get out of that? And then the next one would be, reflect and ask yourself, how much of my day is yelling? Okay. And so this is something that I use very often. If I yell the 1 or 2 times, I'm easy, a little bit more easier on myself. There are some times where I'm just like, I really didn't have to yell for that. That was more me. Okay. So again, ask yourself, is this more me or is this the child? Am I not realizing the child is a child? And is it me because I'm stressed and kind of just feeling overwhelmed because I have a lot going on and a lot on my plate? So if you find that your entire day is just constantly yelling, then yes, there is something going on. And so reflect and ask yourself, are you being consistent? Are they not following through because they just figure like, oh yeah, okay, you know, I know that you haven't started yelling yet. So, and our kids learn this, right? Oh, okay, so mommy hasn't started yelling yet. So that means she's really not serious. I'm going to wait until she yells like the 3rd time, and then I know she's really real, right? So are we being consistent? Do we set those boundaries and limitations? Do they know, like, this is what I said and this is what I mean, and then there's a consequence that follows through with that? You know, say it once, say it twice. And are we saying too much? Is there otherwhere? And this is where, again, you know, the visuals and having checklists and things like that, we don't always have to do the talking. Let the visuals, let the checklists, let your picture schedules do the talking for you. So the expectations of, hey, in the morning, you need to brush your teeth, wash your face, and then come downstairs for breakfast. You know, have it written there, have a checklist, have your visual schedule so that you aren't having to say that all the time. Because again, a lot of times we say a lot of things. Our kids cannot retain all that auditory information. So when we list off a rhyme of things that they're going to do, they might do the first thing and then the last thing or one thing they heard in the middle, but they're not doing it because they don't remember. Their brains are not developed to be able to remember that, all that stuff. And so we're getting mad at them, but in reality, it was just too much information for them, or you weren't considered, no one's consistent. So they don't know kind of what you mean. Do you mean what you really say? And so ask yourself, how can I do things differently? And of course, if you are kind of like reflecting on these questions and you feel like, oh, okay, yeah, there's probably some things, you know, that I can work on, that my child can work on, but I'm just not really sure how I can get there or what strategies I really need to put in place. This is where I can come in, right? And so this is where, you know, parent coaching sessions are available. I am definitely here to help you along that way. We can, through a coaching session, go through kind of in detail what is going on, pinpoint some areas of things and strategies that we can change. If your child's always feeling like they're doing the opposite of what you say, what is the root and the heart of that? And so I have various programs that we can kind of go through to help figure out what is happening, why is that child struggling, and what can you as a parent do using positive and practical strategies, giving you step-by-step solutions for your family, for your specific family, as to how you can change that. So you do not have to struggle alone. If you are in recovery as a yeller, know that there is help for you. As I said, I am here definitely to help you, and you can connect with me. You can message, put a comment below, or you can also message me on my Instagram. I'll put all the information in the comments or in the section below as well. But you can Instagram me on Cornerstone FS, and you can Instagram me. You can DM me. You know what I mean. And you can also email me at support@marlenespence.com as well. Okay. And so that kind of wraps up this session. Next week, stay tuned. This is why you want to make sure you're following me on Instagram. So I'm going to be doing a vote for next week's topic. And you can also comment in the comments if you're reading this later and tell me which one you want. Which topic should we talk about next week? So you're going to choose between why do my kids lie and how do I stop them from continuously lying? So that's topic number 1. And topic number 2, how do I stop the morning mayhem? So if you're struggling with your preteens, with your kids in the morning, sharing some tips and strategies as to how you can stop the morning mayhem without yelling and losing your cool all the time. And so this is another, I know morning mayhem is a huge topic. I often do coaching sessions on that as well with families. So yes, that is it. I'm trying to make sure that all these sessions are less than 30 minutes. And so we are quickly approaching the 30-minute mark. And so if there are any questions, feel free to put it in the comments below, and I will get to your questions. So before I say goodbye, I do again want to encourage you to hop over to my Cornerstone FS and my Rewardums, REWARDUM, Instagram, because we're having a giveaway. So I've collaborated with, actually it's going to be a week of giveaways. So we've just at midnight tonight, it closes for the giveaway where I am giving away a whole Rewardum pack with all included add-ons, as well as a signed book from Lisa Canning. I'm right now wearing the Raising Rich Kid. I'm Raising a Rich Kid t-shirt. Rich Kid is responsible, independent, confident, and happy. But in this prize pack, you get the kids version, which is I'm a rich kid. It says I'm a rich kid, and that's in black. So that contest ends tonight. And then I have another contest that has just started today as well, where I've collaborated with other influencers and small businesses to provide all of you with a $700 Target gift card as well. If you're not in Canada, which I know a lot of my people aren't, you can also do the PayPal cash option. So if you convert 700 US to Canadian, that, my friends, is a lot of money. So hop over to Rewardum FS, I'm combining both of them, to Rewardums, REWARDUM on Instagram. And it closes in another 2 days, so you don't have long, but head over there. Have any questions, let me know, send me a comment, DM me. Hope you found this useful. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.